Welcome to the channel, Farming with Nick. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, we are actually going to do a custom barn build from scratch, and we are on the map Ohio Richlands. So, I'm going to go in. We are going to buy some property real quick. And here's our Ohio map. Our store is down here in the very bottom of the map. And we are going to purchase field 46, which is across from our store, and we're actually going to purchase field 45 as well. Okay, so we're right across from our land actually. And for our build, I am first going to paint this field, and then I'm actually going to put meadow grass in there as well. And I'll do that for the entire field. I'll leave this other field untouched for right now, but this is where our main farm is going to be. So once I get done with that, I will bring you guys back. Okay, we are all set painting and planting meadow grass on our field here. So I went and took care of that. I left the neighboring field alone for now, and when I went through, I did not do any leveling of the field. I did notice in the back corners it kind of slopes off to the left there a little bit. However, I just left it. I figured most of it is pretty good. I'll just go ahead and level the buildings individually or later on if needed. That's kind of my plan with that. So otherwise, I think we're pretty good with that. So let's get started with our build, and I am going through, and we are going to start adding right off of our main drive here. So here's the main road, and then if you've played on Ohio Richlands, this is the spot where your things spawn once you buy them from the store. So we'll have to make sure that we kind of fence that off a little bit. That way people don't come into our farm. So my plan is to kind of use this and kind of make our path up to our farmhouse, and then we'll kind of put everything else behind it here on this custom build. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to go to our cow pasture first, and in a second you'll kind of see what I'm doing. I'm kind of line this up with the field. It looks pretty good. And place it up just a little bit right there. Now I'm going to go up to our sheds, and I'm actually going to get a big barn. And we're going to put this barn into this area here. So let's move it like that, so it's just inside. And then I know I have a smaller barn, and I've done this before just kind of on my own, but not on this map. One of these, and we're actually going to make our own L-shape farm right here, or build. So let's kind of place it like this, kind of match up. That. Yeah, that looks good. And then let's go back, and off of this pasture, oops, let's add another one of those large barns. There we go. Went the wrong way around. So let's flip this around. Kind of want the other spot to face that way. And then there's our post. Kind of line that up. And then place it inside. And let's go back to our cattle here. And back to our pasture, and let's add actually one more. So there is our post. Kind of get it inside. Let's add it like that. Perfect. Okay, and now let's do something a little bit different. Instead of adding all of the buildings right away, I'll get back to those in a second. Let's add some fencing just around those cattle pastures real quick, just so we can kind of get an idea of where they're going to be at. So let's just add a couple gates on there. And another access point in there. And then we'll come around and we'll just add another one right there for now. And you could add more around the perimeters for sure. You might even add bigger gates depending on what kind of equipment you're bringing in here. That way it's a little easier. These gates are a little smaller, you need smaller equipment to get through. And I'd probably add a gate out here as well if I had more time, kind of working on it. I go up to the barn there. And then let's add fencing around here as well. Oh, it's not going to give it to me right there. That's right, you have to go this way into the barn. There we go. That worked. Go that way. Just go back into the main part there. Great. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that design. Let's go and let's keep adding to our barn, our farm now. And let's have this little shop. Pretend this is behind our house. Have that there. Let's go over here. Let's add one in the very corner. Let's put one of these over here. There we have a long barn for extra storage. And then let's go to the far back. And let's put this one, I like this barn, kind of back here. And this is where I can tell, yeah, it's gonna be sloped a little bit. So let's grab our landscaping tool. And I am by no means an expert at doing some of this. I am also still learning, but you can tell it's higher. When I did the painting and planting the meadow grass, I could tell it was higher in the back there. So all I'm doing is bringing up this corner best I can, and then we're going to place the building right on it there. There we go. And I'll just get it with the softening tool just right on the edge there. Okay, and go back to our buildings. And let's go all the way back down. There it is. And I'm going to place it right there. Yeah, that'll work good. I can come back in and fix that corner a little bit later. Then pretend we'll have some drives that'll come back here. And let's add some more storage to our farm. So let's add this one. I know this is a very large shed, but pretend we were doing some bigger field work. We wanted to come back here for that. And then let's get our landscaping tool out again. I know these need to be leveled. Kind of had the thought, we have cattle, so from here, let's bring out our leveling tool. Had the idea of putting some bigger bunkers back here. Let's go to silos, and I think I have them, the ones I want, that I'm thinking of. I think they're, there we go, towards the back. I know when you place these, yeah, they have to be a little more level. There you can drive up to them. And then over here, let's add another shed. We have this one kind of match what we're doing right now. Put this one on the side. There we go. And we'll put one more here. See, we have that fence here. A little bit easier to place this now. Pretend we have a hay shed out back here by our cattle pasture. You can kind of drive into there, come back through to this main building. Yeah, that'll work good. Okay. So, we're missing some silos. So let's put right here in this open spot. Let's add some silos here to our middle. Coming off of our shed, I think that's a good spot for one of them. Add a couple more. Let's add a fermenting silo as well for our cattle. Get silage in there. And then we'll do one more kind of on this back side. There we go. Can you add a couple container items? fertilizer tank. Turn that way. Oh, there we go. And now let's go over and let's pretend when we built our farm they actually had to dig out a little bit. And we created our own pond here. So, I'm going to use our lower tool here. And create a pond here out front. Pretending we needed some fill for our build. And then we'll go back here. And let's pretend our cattle. We have just a small little pond for them as well. And we'll go back up to our decorations and in others and scroll all the way down. We'll add our water real quick. There's one, and then let's go over, add it into our other one. Good, and there's two. Okay. Well, that's looking really good. And now let's add some roads to our farm. So go into landscaping. Go into painting. And let's pretend we have gravel here. So we'll come off of this main part here. Kind of come around to our front. Up to the front of our barn. And then this road would probably loop back. Loop up to our garage. And it doesn't have to be perfect with your gravel, especially because unless you're re-graveling a lot, which is expensive, but it needs to be done to maintain your roads and your driveways. There's probably going to be some imperfections and definitely some weeds. And pretend that's the bigger drive for our machinery that kind of goes out back. So we'll kind of loop around here now. Our drive. Pretend our gravel comes up to this barn. And then let's go over here. Make it a little larger. And we'll pretend that most of this is gravelled for sure. And then underneath our shed that would be gravelled. Wouldn't have many weeds under there. Leave a little bit of a lawn A little bit of a backyard there. Kids to play around. And then this would be graveled probably as well. So kind of loop over here. Up to that barn will be graveled. Leave some of this grass, because it wouldn't be perfect. It costs a lot to maintain it to be pristine, but it can be done. Not that it can't. And then this would all be graveled as well. So we'll leave some of that grass patch. Alright, and why we were here, I was just thinking of it. Let's add a cement pad for our cattle right here and there. Add some dirt in there as well, so pretend our cattle are coming in and out of these doors. We have a nice cement pad there. Then this is all dirt. This is what I'm thinking. So you come around here, and most of this after our gravel would be just a dirt drive. And maybe this would be a little more sporadic. We'd probably place some tractors and equipment there. Maybe coming out of there a little bit too. So let's loop this way. And this is where I'm actually going to take out some of the field. And then we'll pretend this is actually going to be a drive going back up. And this was sort of my thinking when I purchased it, was to have a drive that would come back around the farm and up. And then we could come off the road this way, around the shop, which I think is pretty cool. And then this drive would come up here. This would probably be dirt here as well. And then in that barn, a little bit easier to maintain. I know it might get muddy in the off season for sure. Get some dirt around here. The cattle will be going in and out. But just a little cheaper option than having to gravel and maintain everything. And maybe eventually on the farm we would kind of start to pave more, add more to it later on. And then this drive would go back here into our big barn. And then come in here to our hay shed. And then this would just be dirt in there. And if I wanted to fix like that back half of it, I would probably just take out the building really quick and then paint it, place the building back. But for this, I'm just telling you just to save some time. So you probably have some tracks going up into these, coming back. Then in our hayloft, this would all be dirt in here. Coming out of this, we would loop back around and we would actually be able to get around here as well. There we go. So you'd be able to take equipment around here. And this would loop back up to our silos. There we go. Add some dirt right there. Let's add, this would probably be dirt in here. Add some around here where our cattle will be walking around. And add some right by their food. Probably where they'd be hanging out more. And we'll pop over here to this side, same thing. Just kind of add some tracks, kind of where they'd be walking through. And then same thing right by their feeders. There we go. And we'll add some right here by this door and that pen and that gate right there. And I thought, yeah, we had another gate right here. So same thing. Great, and there we go. And now we'll continue here. I'm going to go to plants again. And I do need to add, I know, some grass. It was back here on this part of the barn. There it is. So we'll kind of fill that in. Now here, remember there was like this corner area here, kind of sloped around. So I'm just going to add some rocks in here. And this is kind of just gives it some texture, especially on the corner. There we go. Something like that. And then maybe even our cow pens. Some rocks around here. Kind of change them out. Go over to our main one. Some larger ones in here. Just add some character. Gives it a little bit of a finishing touch. And we'll come up to the front. So same thing. Add some rocks here. Some smaller ones. There we go. Kind of fit in. Yeah, that'll look nice. Alright, up here, let's actually jump over, when I'm thinking of it, to fences right here. So this is the store, and if someone was purchasing their item, see if it's going to give it to me there. And that's okay. We can always kind of disguise that with shrubs. And see where it stops, right around there. Which that's okay. Yeah, so that part we'll kind of just disguise a little bit. So yeah, if someone buys anything from the store here, that's the spawn point. So this fence is a little bit of, you know, decoration in the front, but then obviously it's also needed for that. That way someone was purchasing something, they wouldn't just come right into your farm. There we go, something like that. That'll work out good. And I won't put any more fencing around there at all. Okay, and let's go to plants. And last little thing, let's add some bushes. Some flowers out front maybe. And really think it's some of these little details that really kind of add to your farm. Make it look what it is in the end. So we won't put many up here, just do a little bit. Here we go. Alright, so I'm going to go around, actually. I'm going to add some more bushes. I'm going to add some trees real quick. I'm going to do that off camera just so it doesn't take up too much time, but I'm going to go around our farm and our build here, add those little details, our trees and stuff, and then after that I will bring you back. I've just finished up putting in just the little details, plants, bushes, trees, some decorations around the farm, some trees here around our tree line, with that fence there, some bushes, kind of just accenting some of the fence line, accenting some of the barns, some trees kind of scattered around. I think those little touches really add to the farm and really make it unique and make it yours. I'm a huge fan of the trees. I'm not a huge fan of like putting too many trees as you drive around your farm. Then like the camera on the game kind of like bounces up and down, or you have to be really low when you're driving. So that's just my take on it. So I'll kind of give you a quick tour. You come off of this main road here, and you come up to our house. To our right is our pond. To the left is our garage. And then you can come up. We have our main cattle barn here. We have another storage barn off to our right. Remember, we put in this barn to make it kind of an L-shaped barn. We have our little backyard here for our farmhouse. We have a little storage shed, a little workstation. We have some silos after that. We have our first cattle pasture right here, as you can see. I have that built into this barn, so our cattle can actually go into here. Then we have them going through this barn and into our second pasture, which I think is really cool, and I'm really happy with that setup. You could also, if you're kind of trying to play more realistic, you could actually put these cattle, and the trigger for them is on one of the sides over here. You could actually put them in a trailer and then drive them out and then unload them into this pasture to kind of make it more realistic of moving them back and forth. So I kind of like that idea. Then we had another barn back here for storage. I kind of just put like a little rock feature here, put some decorations, some trees. You can drive around that shed, and then as you come to the back part, we have our hay shed right there. We have a large equipment shed right here that you could really store a lot in. We have some silos right there for silage, another equipment barn for storing things. We put that back pond here in that cattle pen. Then you could drive back up to our farm, and you could go to any of the silos, which there's plenty of room to kind of drive around, which I think is nice. You could drive straight out back to the main map, or you could kind of just do a loop around and go back this way and then cut back to our fields. And you'll notice I kind of just put some bushes alongside our opposite road here to kind of drive up to the farm, which I think looks pretty cool too. A little easier access, then you don't have to go all the way through the main part of your farm. You can kind of just cut back here and then get to that main equipment storage shed and then cut back out as well. Alright, well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed our farm build from scratch on Ohio Richlands, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.